Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. I saw a comment when we were waiting to go live, and somebody said, "I can't believe that we're all chatting with each other from all around the world," and that is really exciting. So it's great to see you. Today, we're going to have some fun because I was playing around with some masking magic strips, and I tried something that I hadn't tried before. And it's really fun. So I think we'll give it a try today. And it's a really fun way to make a vibrant background for a birthday card. That's what it reminds me of. It just reminds me of a fun birthday card. So that's how we're going to apply it to today's card. All right, everybody, before we get started, shall we say hello to Tom? Hey.
Hey, everybody. Happy crafternoon.
How are you?
I'm better than horrible. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Better than horrible. And, it's Thursday and it's been a busy week, huh?
Crazy week. Just busy week. And you've been doing a lot of bike riding this week.
Yeah, I've been biking in, trying to, take advantage of the weather. We do need some rain. And I know, boy, they're dealing with those smoky forests out there.
Oh, I know. I'm so worried about everybody up in Canada and everybody in the US that's affected by all of those fires. So we're praying for you guys. We're thinking of all of you. That's awful. I want to ride my bike into work, but my helmet smashes my hair down.
Oh, come on.
I can't do it on a live day.
Just for fun.
I might get another wig. We'll go back to that again.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to have some fun today, Tom, and I think you're really going to like this card. All right. Let's get started with today's techniques. So today, one technique. All right. So I'm going to start with some masking magic strips. Let me back up just a little bit. Oh, you're all so sweet. Thank you so much. I used to wear wigs a lot in my old videos. I don't know if you knew that, but there are some wigs in there. I got a wig that looked just like my hair, so hopefully people couldn't tell too much. All right, I'm going to start with some masking magic strips. Now, if you don't have the masking magic strips and you only have the sheets, you can trim the sheets down to 1/8" strips if you want to. But I am going to use the masking magic strips because they're just so convenient. Let's see here. So I just got a brand new pack. Thanks to Janelle in the warehouse, got a brand new pack. And if you've never tried the masking magic strips, one of the great things that ThermoWeb did for me with these strips is they colorized the liners on the back. So it's really easy to see which strips are which size. So if you look at these tiny, let's see, what size is this here? These are the 1/8 inch strips. So they're blue on the back. And then the big 1/2 inch strips are green on the back, and the 1/4 inch strips are red on the back. So that makes it easy to find them right away because they're not always that easy to see, with eyes that are aging like mine. So let's get started. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to do a crisscross design on this cardstock. And this is such a fun technique just without the second part of today's technique that I'm going to show you. But let's do this. So I like to go from corner to corner for my first strip, and that gets me into the right position. Now, if it's easier for you to turn it so the strip looks horizontal and then add the rest of your strips, you can do that. Or you can leave it just like this so that, maybe you like to look at it on a diagonal better. Sometimes I like to look at it this way because I feel like I can get the lines straighter. You can do these super close together if you want, or you can spread them out a bit. I'm going to spread them out a bit And if you've never used the strips before, they are reusable. They're not reusable forever, but they're reusable a couple of times. Especially, I would recommend, if you're going to reuse them, to make sure that you use the same colors on your second one as you did on your original one. Okay, so you can see they're easy to tear. I love that. There we go. Here we go. That one. And then if you want to add one more little one just to keep the spacing, you certainly can. I'll do that just for fun. All right, now we're going to do the, and you can see like this one's a little skinnier. This one's a little fatter. Don't worry about it. It's still going to look great. And the little bit of differences actually, I think, make it look a little bit better. All right, so you can see how easy these are going down. And again, if you want to reuse them, you can store them right on the outside of the package because they stick, but they don't tear when you peel them up. So you can just peel them up, stick them on the back of the package, and then when you want to use them again, they'll pull right up. And you can also stick them to acetate. So if you have any acetate or clear toner sheets, you can always dedicate one to Masking Magic. And then we'll do one more tiny one right there. And what I like about Masking Magic too is, see, all of this is holding the design down. So when we start stenciling over it, we're going to be able to do that without worrying about any kind of mat or anything else like that. It's just going to stick to my paper. And if you're using a glass mat, these will stick to the glass mat too, but it leaves no residue behind. So now I went from corner to corner again, and I know you guys have seen me do this part a lot, but I just have to get these down so we can get to the next part. So again, I'm trying to space them fairly evenly. And don't worry if your diamonds are a little bit wonky, it's okay. And I'm going to make a horizontal card anyway for this particular design. So, okay, here we go. And this doesn't really take that very long to do. And it is kind of relaxing, actually. So I would make a couple of these with those same strips, and then you can toss them. I love how easy they are to tear. That's like so nice that you don't need to get a pair of scissors involved. Okay, and I am actually going to trim this down once I get done. I might cut it with Master Layouts too, or I might just cut it with my paper cutter. I haven't decided yet. But I've made this piece of cardstock a little bit bigger than my finished design. And the reason I've done that is because sometimes when you're ink blending around the edges, you catch a little bit and it's darker in one spot than the other. So if you make it a little bit bigger and then trim it down to the size you want, you kind of eliminate, you know, the edges from looking darker than they should on certain areas. So the size of my cardstock here is 3 3/4 of an inch by 5 inches. And then I'm going to cut the whole thing down to 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 of an inch. Both of those measurements are Master Layouts sizes. So the measurement that I've cut it down to initially here is Master Layouts 1. And then what I'm going to finally cut it down to is Master Layouts 2. I don't even know if this piece is going to matter, but you know, we're going to do it anyway because I won't feel right if I don't. Okay, so, and then any extra pieces that you tore off can just be stored right back on the liner so you can use it for another card. Alrighty, now let's pick some colors. So I thought for this one, I made one in some pinks, and the pinks are really beautiful. And they feel like a great birthday card for a young girl. But for a boy, or for anybody really, I thought maybe the turquoise sea, powder blue, and wild lilac might be a good mix. Of course, my girls love these colors. I certainly do too. And I know lots of boys that love pinks and oranges and yellows. So it really doesn't matter. But for people that are more traditionalists, I wanted to do one in pinks and I wanted to do one featuring more blues. I kind of feel like this birthday card is fun for anyone, but it's especially fun for young people. Like, if sometimes the cards that we make, I don't think my girls, they're in their 20s. I mean, maybe they, they're at that age, it's fine. But like, if I was going to make a card for an 8-year-old, I don't know if a really beautiful floral card would be as exciting to her as something more like this. So this is kind of what I'm going for, getting away from florals for one day. Okay, so I'm starting with a little bit of turquoise sea, and I'm going to randomly add some of this in different spots on the card.
So Kim asked about master layouts, I think.
So master layouts are our die sets that there's all different dies in each set that create card layouts for you. So it's an easy way to figure out what panels go with what panels and how to cut layers so that they're perfectly even. So head over to our website. It's ginakdesigns.com and type in master layouts and you'll see all the different sets and how they all work. And then they mix and match together to create even more layouts. Okay, so I'm going to use, I got to clean my blue brush here because I think I have some blue denim from my card I was working on over the weekend. I was doing a sunset and I got some blue denim on there. So this is how I clean my blending brushes. If you're new to blending brushes, I just rub off the ink until it gets much lighter. And then I stay within the blues for this brush. So I go from my lightest blue all the way down to my darkest blue with the same blue brush. I have a different brush for my teals and my aquas and my turquoise colors. So we're adding a little powder blue in here. It's a nice mix together. And where it overlaps does give you a little bit of a wisteria look. Kind of like that.
And it's possible that new master layouts might be coming along the way.
It's very possible. In fact, there might even be a new set in our next release on Tuesday night. You never know. You never know. I don't like to tell tales out of school, but you never know. All right, now I'm going to use some wild lilac. And another beautiful color for this would also be the new lilacs, the light, medium, and dark lilac, if you want a lighter look. Okay, so we're going to add some purple in here. Ooh, that's pretty. Looks kind of like a hot mess right now. I think I say that about every card. Every card that I make looks kind of like a hot mess when I start. I'm going to add a little purple up in here to change that color. Same over here. Because this gives it like even more variations in there. And then I'm going to go back with that powder blue brush again and put a little bit of that into the purple. I just love the mix of all of those colors. Okay, now here's the fun part. Now I'm going to take a color outside of this color. It's still going to work with all of these colors. Like, you wouldn't want to use orange here, right? That would not work because you're going to get a lot of brown and yuck. You want to do something that you know is going to blend well with powder blue, turquoise sea, and whatever purple you're using. So Tranquil Teal is the one that I'm going to use. It's going to work great with all of these colors, and it's not going to turn any of them brown. And then I'm going to use the fizzy stencil, and I'm going to pop that right on top. And then we are going to create some little dots inside of all of these little diamonds. Okay. So layering paper, for the question about layering cardstock, it's just a lighter weight. So our white and our ivory comes in both a heavy weight for card bases and a lightweight for layering so your card doesn't get too thick. And the layering weight is also really good for die cutting because it's thinner, so your more intricate dies cut a little bit easier out of the lighter weight. So if you're doing ink blending on a design that's very intricate and then you want to die cut it out, very easy to cut out because it's a lighter weight cardstock. But I've been using layering weight on everything because our mill has not manufactured our white, but I heard that that was happening. So hopefully we'll have that back in soon. All right, so now I'm going to use this turquoise, this Tranquil Teal, and I'm going to add some Tranquil Teal dots all over this. This is when it really starts looking crazy. But it's so fun. I love mixing and matching products together like this. I think it's really stretches your stencils. And it also, you know, it's really fun to be able to kind of create a shape with the masking magic. So maybe you just wanted diagonal stripes going down. You could add all these dots on top. Maybe you wanted to just do horizontal lines going across and do some segments. You could also do that. Okay. So I'm just going over it a little bit more, making sure I didn't miss anything because these little tiny dots, some of these holes are really tiny and you got to kind of press the brush in there to make sure you get it in there.
Question from Cheryl.
Yes.
Would you use layering or heavyweight cardstock for embossing, especially the 3D folders?
I've been using layering weight and it works great. I don't do 3D folders, but I've been using layering weight on all of our 2D folders and they come out absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So here we go. Look how cute this is already looking. Now, this, again, it looks kind of like a hot mess, but let's start peeling off this masking magic. And like I said, so if you have your packaging and you wanted to save these, as you peel them off, and if you lose a couple, that's okay. I mean, it'll happen, but as you peel them off, you can just stick them right onto your masking magic packaging, and then you can go back and use them later.
The best stencil for a beginner.
Oh, well, it depends. I mean, it depends what you're trying to do. Do you want like a layering stencil? Do you want, I would just try some of these fun backgrounds first, just to get the hang of stenciling and blending colors together. So we have so many to choose from. I would just say go peruse the site and pick one background, one simple background stencil that you think would work with a lot of your cards and start with that and see how you like it. I mean, I love our water droplets. I love the fizzy one. The dots, the polka dots are great. The brick wall is a great one. They make great backgrounds. And if you watch some of my videos on YouTube, you can kind of see which ones I tend to gravitate to most. So if you are a beginner and you're more in that, like, I'm just going to copy a few cards first to learn, that might be a good way to do it. All right, here we go. This is the real fun part now when we do the other side. See, I don't think I really needed that one, but I'm going to be cutting that off anyway. But if you like this technique, pick up some masking magic and grab this stencil. And it's great for birthday cards, any celebrations. Like, and when I say it's great for birthday cards and you can't use it for other things, you can use it for other things. Of course you can. But like for me, this polka dot look, I don't know that I would do a bright card like this and then put a sympathy greeting on it. I might use the polka dots in the background in a soft gray or a muted pink and then put maybe a butterfly on top and make that a sympathy card. But the way I'm doing this particular card, this lends itself much more to something happy and celebratory. Take a look at this. Isn't that so fun? Oh, I love it. I just love it. So if you have like balloon stamps or you have anything else, you can just do your layout on there and that just gives you a big bold pop of color for the background. And people will look at that and go, wait, how'd you do that? So that's always fun when I give a card to somebody and they have to ask how I did it. Love that. Okay. So if we want to cut it out with Master Layouts 2, for those who haven't seen our Master Layouts, this is Master Layouts 2. So it's got 2 big dies that cut out card panels. The stitched one will cut out the main panel, and then the plain one cuts out a thin shadow layer for behind it. But of course, you can use this by itself as a plain panel. So maybe you just want a plain white panel on there, and you can use that as well. When they bend a little bit, because they always do, any big open die will start to curl a little bit. Just lightly flex them back into shape and they'll be totally fine again. It's just because when they go through a die cutting machine, it's very tight and the rollers roll up on them. And after doing it a million times, they'll curl a little bit, but they're easy to just bend slightly back into shape. And then this is the same thing. It's a rectangle and then a shadow rectangle, which is great if you want to do a panel in the center, something like that. And then this one has 2 different banners, stitched banners, and they all work together. This is just one of 10, 11, how many sets? 11 sets that we have right now. So
Okay, so Tara is asking, what colors would you use for a masculine card?
well, I would use these colors for sure. The colors I just used. Now it depends though. I mean, like if you want it more subdued, you could use browns and tans and beiges, maybe a little hint of turquoise in with that mix. Greens are always beautiful. I guess, you know, all colors work for everybody these days. You can do whatever you want because, I mean, I even say, like, when I'm doing a flower card, I know just as many men who love gardening and love flowers as women. So it's not really, flowers don't really have a gender and colors don't really have a gender. But if you are more traditional and you think along the lines as pink is for girls and blue is for boys, then I would kind of go in that direction. It's whatever you like and whatever you feel comfortable with. I don't want to tell people how to pick their colors, but I did a pink one earlier just to test this out. And so now I'm doing a blue version just so we have something different to look at. So I am taping this Master Layouts 2 stitch die down. Okay. And then I'm going to cut that out first.
I like a lot of cards that have like 1 or 2 colors against a white, like black and turquoise or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, more graphic style.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice too. Okay, so this one, my first one that I did, which I'll show you in a bit. Now this one has that little stitched line around the outside, which is so cute. Okay, and then we cut off, this could be used as a frame. You see how even I cut that? I'm pretty impressed with myself there. So if you wanted to use that as a frame for something, you could adhere that to another piece like that and just have a really cute little frame going around the outside. So you don't have to, you don't have to throw those away. Isn't that neat? That looks so cute. Also, if you're a scrapbooker, you could save a bunch of these frames and then just put them around your photographs. So I love that. I'm going to save that one because it's a little bit too perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to cut the center out of this. I know, it's scary, isn't it? But I am going to use these dies. So these are our double stitched rectangles and our single stitched rectangles. And I think I'm going to use this big double stitched rectangle. So this is another way to make a frame. Now for this, I don't want to use the pixie tape because I don't know if it's going to snag on it once I really press hard on the die cutting machine going through. And it just worries me a little bit. So what I could do is I could use a masking magic strip to hold it down. Let me see if that will work. I'm going to use one of these 1/2-inch ones. These just seem a little more gentle, but then again, anytime you stick anything down and put it through your die cutting machine, sometimes you can have a little struggle getting it off. So, you know, you might want to just try to eyeball it too. That's always an option. I mean, these products are fantastic and they're my favorites. And I think you know that because I use them in almost every video. But when cardstock is wet sometimes from ink or just damp, it's not completely dry, things can happen. Okay, here we go. Get it through there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to hope for the best that I don't tear my paper. I don't think I will. I'm just going to be gentle with it, though. There we go. You know I have a lot of faith in my masking magic. So I'm going to keep this panel, and I'm going to keep this panel. And again, this would be a fun one to create a frame as well. You can see how that looks. So these just make such fun little frames. Like if you wanted to make mats for your photographs for frames you have at home, we've got bigger die sets that this would work with. We've got the Master Layouts 8, I want to say, which is our 5x7 Master Layout set. And you could cut some frames out of there. So yeah. So I know this is a little smaller on the bottom than the top, but that's okay. Now we're going to keep this together. And then I'm going to cut, that was a double stitched rectangle. I'm going to cut a single stitched rectangle out of this, out of black. Nope, that's not going to work. Just grabbing what's in my scrap box here. Oh, here's one that'll work. Is that a single piece? Okay. So this is the single stitched version of that double stitched die. And when you're doing big dies like this, sometimes you saw how I was struggling to like push that through. If you turn it on an angle like that, you won't struggle. It'll be a lot easier. It just goes right through then. I don't know why. I'm sure there's some scientific thing about that, but I don't know the answer. I just know that it goes through easier when it's on an angle. All right, and we're going to keep that. So this is a way to not have to make more than one, but still create a layered look. So I'm going to adhere these two panels together like this, but then I'm going to adhere these two together, and then I'm going to pop this up to give it some dimension, but the pattern is going to continue. That's why it's really good to cut this out of the same thing. You can see the pattern continues around. It doesn't like mess up your brain by like, hey, that doesn't look right. And also it saves cardstock because you're not going to see this anyway. So why not cut it out of there? Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We're not done die cutting yet, but we are going to start adhering these panels together. So let's adhere these two first. I know there's so much fun stuff. Would you guys like me to do like some videos where I just focus on a master layout die set and we do a couple of quick cards? I mean, they would be very quick cards and I'd probably have to use some pattern papers, but I think that would be fun just to show how they all go together. Okay, now I pre-cut this black panel out of Master Layouts 2, the plain die for that. I had that already cut, so lining it up okay. That's better than horrible. There we go. And then I'm going to adhere these two together. Okay, yes to the Master Layouts video. Yeah, it's kind of nice to see how different ones work together because we do have some that kind of built on other ones where there's a panel in one that actually layers perfectly with the panel in another one. So, okay, now I have to remember you got to check to see how that doesn't look right. See right there, that blue and that pink, but this way it looks right. So you got to check which direction to make sure your pattern is continuous. But we are going to pop that up I don't want to shut this camera off, but I want to zoom in. Sometimes I do it without looking at the button, and I almost shut the camera off. Not a good look. So I'm going to use some of our shaker strips to pop this up. These are pre-done strips that make it very easy. But if you don't have pre-done strips, you can also use foam squares, or you can use the Thermal Web big rolls of tape, whatever you want to use. So I am going to put some of these big strips on the back here. And then I'm going to get my scissors and just trim that. Stick one here. I have a piece here from another project that I can use. These shaker strips are great for shaker cards, and I gotta do more shaker cards. Our shaker squares and circles, our shaker circles and ovals have been out of stock, but I heard that they're actually in process now, being manufactured, which is awesome. So we'll be getting those back in, and when we do, then I'll be able to do a shaker card with those for you. Okay, so I just put some there in the middle so it doesn't sink down, and I'm going to test it again and make sure I know. See, you get that nice dimension when you pop this piece up, but the pattern still is continuous. Yeah, you could use this for all kinds of things. You could just grab here's an image that's just sitting here. You could grab any image and pop it on there and put a greeting with it, and you could have so much fun with this. All right, so let's pick a background color for this. I tend to want to look at the different ones. I think purple might be fun because I feel like it has a little more blue in it, and this might bring out more of the purples. Doesn't that look fun? I love that. Let's take a look at it on powder blue. See how the purple just, I don't know. I kind of like that. I feel like that makes the purple stand out more. Like the purple in the card stands out more. Here, the purple just kind of gets drowned out, but the blues stand out more. But this, I don't know. Okay, let's get some votes. Purple or blue? Purple or blue? Purple or blue? I like them both, so I'm going to let you guys decide. Tom, kind of keep track and see what people say. More blues or more? Oh, I'm getting a lot of blues now. Getting a lot of blue. Yeah, maybe we'll do blue because it'll feel a little bit more like a boy card. Yeah, a lot of people are saying blue. Okay, we'll go with blue. But if you're making this card and you want to do it in purple, do it in purple and share it in our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends, and I would love to see what you guys make. You know, there's a lot of different stencils that will work great with this design. The leafy stencil would be great. The water droplets, the hearts, and, you know, anything. Anything will look good. Just something with the Harvest Flourish would look really good. Okay, so that's the way that's going to go on. So I'm going to tape this down first. Yeah, I bet aqua would have looked good too, like turquoise sea would have looked nice too. Yeah, I think any of them would really look good. It's just, depending on what background you put on, different colors pop out of the center. And I feel like I'm in the mood for this one today. And it sounds like most of you were in the mood for this one too. Okay, now we're going to line this up. Make sure it looks fairly even. That didn't look even. I got to get my head in here. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do it till it's right. Or till it's better than horrible. That's better than horrible. There we go. Okay, so that pattern looks pretty good. Okay. Now, let's make a little happy birthday greeting that we can pop on the top here. So I have our Happy Quartet and our Oh gosh, I can't think of the name of this die set. Scripty Quartet and Happy Duo. I think that's what they are. And I got some other dies on here, so ignore that because I put these dies on magnets. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, so for my pink card, I used the big happy, like the all caps. I think I'm going to use the small letters here. I cut some out. Let me show them to you. Here it is. I think these are super cute. This little happy here. That looks very happy to me. But I'm going to cut it again because one thing I forgot to do was save the backing. And the backing helps me space it a little bit. So I'll show you. I like it spaced out just a little bit more. So what you can do, one thing you can do to make this very easy for you to space is you can go back and cut another one of these, which is what this panel is cut out of, one of these. And you can cut this out of black cardstock. So let me find another piece of black that will work here. Oh, I almost dropped the whole thing. Okay, so let me find my plates. They went somewhere. Here they are. Okay, so this is my little trick for lining this up. So I'm going to cut this out. Ooh, see, I should have turned it. Should have turned it on the angle. Oh, I still need this. Where am I going? Okay, so now we've got this die cut out. And this matches this size perfectly, right? That's going to match perfectly. So now what we want to do is we want to decide where we want this on this card. So we're going to cut this, like if we use this happy here, and then I have the birthday die. So I kind of want to see how it's going to look centered. I don't know how I want to do this yet, but I think that's going to look pretty good if we do the happy right about there. See how I have happy birthday. Okay. So now I'm going to cut this right here where I actually want it laid out on here. Okay, and if you have to tape it down, you can. Like if you're worried about it shifting, it's not a bad idea. I'm going to need more pixie tape. So I'm going to just tape this die down so I know it's centered and I know it's fairly straight. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to cut this out. Ooh! That's the old age sound when you're die cutting. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this out, my happy words. Okay, so now I've created a template. We'll get this out of the way. I'm bringing it back in a minute. So now I've created a template for this piece of cardstock. So I'm going to lay that on top. All right. And now I'm going to poke these letters out. Right? You know that sound? Just popping these letters out. There we go. Did they all come out? Oh, the P. There we go. And now I'm going to get some of my Connect glue. And I'm actually, let's see here. Yep. So I'm going to use my pick and stick tool to pick these up. This way I can kind of do this one-handed. And I'm going to hold this in place. Now, if you don't want to hold it in place, you certainly can use some masking magic to just tape this down onto your card. You know, if you have masking magic, you could do that. And this way, you don't have to worry about it shifting around. Let's get that down, though. Okay, so now I'm taking a little bit of glue, and I'm going to put my glue, just little dots of glue. You don't need to use a ton. It's the letters will stay. And remember, don't glue in the center of the A and the two P's because they're open in the center. So you don't need that to be sticky. So I'm just adding all my glue. like that. Now I'm going to pick up my letters and I'm going to pop them into my template, and I'll just press it down with the pick side. This is the pick and stick tool. It's mostly for gems, but it works great for cardstock too. You can see how I'm getting these in there. Just pressing it lightly. And the Y. Okay. Now I can remove the template, and my happy is all spaced out perfectly, exactly the way that I wanted it to look. And then another thing that works really nicely is if you have a big acrylic block, you can place it on top just to kind of press down all the glue. And we'll just put that aside for a minute just to let that dry. Now we're going to cut the birthday greeting out, but I think I'm going to do a different color scheme for this. So I'm going to get a little scrap of paper here. I think this will work. And I'm going to use whatever's left on these brushes. I'll start with a little bit of purple, like that. I'll do a little powder blue in the center, and I'll do a little turquoise on the top. Don't worry about this being a perfect, beautiful blend. It really doesn't matter that much. I just want it to be vibrant enough, which is why I'm going back over it. You're not even going to see the blend once you cut this die out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that cardstock and we're going to cut birthday out of that blend. All right. And then over here, we're going to cut the negative, which is the shadow layer from that same die set in white. Okay. Let me get this die cutting machine back up here again. And remove the acrylic block and put my happy aside. And you can put anything in there. You know, if you have other dies in your collection, happy anniversary, whatever. You can do whatever you want. Maybe you have a stamp that says something and you can stamp it and die cut it. Okay, so we're going to put this here. Get that into the color. And then the plain one here on the white. I know you can't see that. I could back out a little bit, I suppose. There we go. So you could see kind of how that looks. And I'm just going to cut those out all at once. Ooh, I didn't cap my Connect glue. My cap on my glue. I don't like to leave it out. Okay. See how these look. So we've got our shadow layer, which is the white layer. And then we have our birthday. So let's poke that out. Get this out of the way. Now this one we really don't need a template for because it's a Scripty die, number one, and number two, we already know where it's supposed to go based on where the happy is, right? We know it's going to go underneath this happy. So we'll poke this out. And this is a more delicate die, so I do like to poke most of the holes out before I start pulling on it. And you have to remember too that even though it's a dye ink and it dries quickly, it's still maybe a little bit damp, so you want to just be a little bit careful when you're pulling this out. Especially around the R, because that's super thin right there. There we go. Just nudging it out. Look how pretty that is. It's nice and glowy and pretty, and then if we put it on the white, it will really stand out. So let me get a tiny little piece of cardstock here that I can, that's not a scrappy scrap, there's a little scrap I can use. because I don't want to get glue all over the surface of my table. So you make sure all of these little pieces have fallen out. And then we're going to use the Connect glue, and we're going to glue these two pieces together just to add a little color in here. I mean, you could do black and black and it would look cute. Definitely would look cute, but kind of like having the little option to add some color and make it perfectly match, because you're using right what was on those blending brushes, so it perfectly matches your background. So Tom, while I'm gluing this together, do you happen to have a word of the day?
Word of the day. Word of the day. Yeah. I've got a couple words of the day that have to do with, Gina, as many of you know, she's type 1 diabetic. And
Yep.
so she's always tweaking how to, try to do the best with her food. And so when we're watching things, we have a few menu items that some of them I think we even included before. But, when she's really, really watching, instead of a sandwich, she'll make herself a blandwich.
They are so bland.
Blandwich.
That's so true.
Barely one ingredient, right?
Right. Just chicken and a piece of bread.
And then popcorn without any butter or salt or anything like that. That we call horror corn.
Yes, we do.
And then if you're trying to get through a meal and you instead of eating an actual meal, you have a bar, like one of those wrapped bars.
Oh yeah, the bar.
That, and I'm not sure where this came from, but that's called a martyr bar.
Yes, having a martyr bar for dinner. I love it.
So, words of the day from the menu of Gina K Designs.
A blandwich. I do have a blandwich for lunch today, but a martyr bar for breakfast. Okay, so I'm going to overlap these little loops up here onto the P, and then I've cut out, we have a sentiment strips set, and I believe they're called Birthday Bash. It's our only birthday ones. And we've got a couple sentiment strips that you can mix with Happy Birthday in there. Here's to many more and to you. So, you could pop something like that. Happy birthday, here's to many more. I think that would be cute. Or you could do a small one, happy birthday to you. So let's go ahead and you could tape this down because it's big and it's bold. So you don't need to use glue for this if you don't want to. And let's put it right into place here. I like staggering it just a little bit up over those P's. And then I think, I don't know, I kind of like this. Happy birthday, here's to many more. Isn't that kind of fun? I like that. Let's add that in there. Why not? I used to you on the other one, so I might as well use this one on this one. Here's to many more. There we go. Now we'll add a few little sequins to make it sparkle. And disco ball. Mermaid scales would work, but I'll use disco ball because that's one of my favorites, and it doesn't interfere with anything as far as color goes. So we'll do, let's see, we'll put like one up here, and then we'll do one down here, one in here. Let's try those three first, and we'll see how that looks. So I'm going to use a medium one for in here. There we go. I'll use a smaller one for here, and I'll use a smaller one for up here. Oh, that one didn't want to let go because I feel like I could put a couple more on here. I'll put another one up here. I'll go up a little higher on that one. And then maybe one right down here just to balance out this side a little bit. Maybe I'll put a big one down here. And a tiny up here. Okay. So there we have that sparkle and shine. This is very close. If you're watching on a big screen, this card is 3 feet big, 3 feet wide. So here is that card. Now let me show you the pink one that I did. That's a little far away. Let me show you the pink one that I did earlier. I did it with pinks and orange. The colors I used were passionate pink, sweet mango, and wild dandelion for that. And then on top, I used red hot, actually. So that's just a fun birthday card. I'm really digging the small letters on this one. I think that's super fun. But the happy is called the happy duo. So if you're looking for the words happy, and you can mix that with anything like stamps and stuff you have, you get the caps and you get the small letters, and you also get shadows with them too. So if you wanted to do the same kind of shadow thing, it comes with this shadow die that, you know, wraps around the outside like that. So if you wanted to do that, you could. So it's the happy duo. And then this one is called the Scripty trio. It's got hello, it's got for you, it's got birthday. Yeah, it's got birthday. So it's got the word for, it's got the word you, it's got the word hello, and it's got the word birthday, and shadows for all of them. So if you're looking for some dies to add to your collection down the line, no pressure. I just want to tell you what I'm using because I know a lot of you ask, and it helps to hear it and understand what they are. But it's nice because you can do hello, you can do you know, happy birthday. And then if you have a little 2, you could stamp the word 2 and add the Scripty U underneath. There's a lot you can do. You can kind of create those billboardy kind of greeting panels. But I think the background technique is so much fun, and it just makes this card bright and cheerful. And here it is again in the brighter, vibrant pinks, oranges, and yellows. All right. So that's today's card. So what do you think, Tom? Which one do you like best? I kind of think you might like this one too, because you love orange. That's your favorite color, isn't it?
Yes, I'm torn with these two.
Yeah.
They're very fun.
And if I wanted to take the pink out of this, I could have used orange, yellow, and red instead. And that might have felt less for like a little girl. It could feel a little bit more for like a boy, or for anybody really. So, I mean, whatever you guys want to do with your colors, you totally can. But there are the 2 cards. So, Tom, should we give these away?
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start with the one that I made today. And leave a note in the comments which one you like the best, which one resonates more with you. It doesn't mean you don't like the other one, but which one would you want to make first? Okay.
All right. Drum roll. Here it comes.
Okay.
All right. Winner number 1 is Sheree HoShing.
Hey,
Sheree.
Sheree. Woohoo. All right, Sheree. Congratulations. Okay. And who gets this one?
And the second card goes to Donna Weeks.
Donna. Congratulations,
Weeks.
Donna.
Woo.
All right, ladies. All you have to do is send your name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and I'll get these out to you. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. We have a release party coming up on Tuesday, but it's going to be a premiere, not a live. So if you're watching, you won't be able to comment unless you're signed into your YouTube account, and it's only going to be broadcast on YouTube. The reason we're not doing it live is because it's our daughter Alicia's birthday, and we're going to be spending that time with her, but we are going to be able to get away for a little bit to get on our phones and chat live with you in the comments. I'm so excited. Our sneak peeks are going to start either tomorrow or Saturday, and we've got all kinds of fun stuff coming up, so I hope you'll join us for that. And I'll be back tomorrow with another 5-minute card video, a real simple, delicate little card, and I think you're going to like it. If you wouldn't mind liking this video, I would really appreciate that. And if you could subscribe, that really does help our channel. It helps us get out there to new card makers that are looking for card making ideas. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.